Welcome to the Liger Sports Talk. I'm John Lee.
I'm Tyler Liger.
And today we have a special Valentine's Day edition. But you know what? We're going to do couples done wrong today, Tyler.
Oh man, terrible couples.
Let's start with the breaking news that we had today. Oscar Pistorius. What can you tell us about him?
Oscar Pistorius. He was well known in London for coming out with those bionic legs. He was known in South Africa as the Blade Runner. There was a debate between whether he can use those to his advantage or not. What happened was he was charged for murdering his model girlfriend Reva Steenkamp. She's actually pretty good looking, but taking a few gunshots, that doesn't help things. But according to authorities, there's no other suspects involved. So it's kind of it's South Africa. They have a really high crime rate. They have a huge murder rate. They have like stolen cars and burglaries. So, I mean, the jury's still out. They have to get through the forensics and everything. That's why they push back the trial, well, not the trial date, but more of the interrogation date. So that's a developing story as we're going along. But speaking of relationships gone wrong, gone awry, John, Percy Harvin and the Minnesota Vikings. What's going on, man?
Well, Percy Harvin is in the last year of his contract, and he's gone through migraines. He missed half of last season because of a leg injury, if I'm not mistaken, and now he's threatening to hold out for training camp. Tyler, to me, he needs to prove that he can stay healthy before he can even talk about holding out. At least Chris Johnson ran for 2,000 yards before he decided to hold out.
Oh, no kidding.
So, another rocky relationship, one that we're going to have a huge debate about here in a second.
This one's going to be fun.
Tony Romo and the Dallas Cowboys. Tony Romo's looking to pop the question. He wants to go ahead and get a 4-year extension. What do you think, Tyler?
You can tell by me shaking my head that I completely disagree with this. I mean, Cowboys fans, do you want Tony Romo to throw every other pass as an interception? I swear. Like, did you see the Chicago game earlier last season?
That was an ugly game.
That was a very ugly game. It was 5 interceptions. He is not a quality quarterback. This is something I'm kind of passionate about. I mean, not only for me. I mean, John and I are Broncos fans. We're going to put that out there now. But for all you Cowboys fans out there, I want to save you some pain. If anything, they should get rid of Romo. Just let him go. Bring in Alex Smith, who's a game manager. They have a decent... They have good receivers. They have a good running game whenever DeMarco Murray's not injured. And they have a decent... I mean, if they win kind of the same way that Jim Harbaugh has with, really good defense, and they do have a good defense. Don't get me wrong.
In the right system.
In the right system, they're really good. But the big thing is they just need to create a solid running game, and they need a game manager. Tony Romo isn't that type of guy.
Well, my argument, we've talked about it all day, Tyler. I'm a big Romo supporter. No, he's not clutch. But you look at Joe Flacco, he only won the Super Bowl because the Ravens stopped the 49ers on that goal line stand in the Super Bowl. I mean, you don't have to have a clutch quarterback all the time. While it is nice, you got Eli Manning, who's pretty clutch himself, but you need a good supporting cast. You need a good defense that's going to bail you out of games when you do have those 5 picks. I mean, look at Mark Sanchez's first year. He set the record, if I'm not mistaken, for interceptions, and they made it to the AFC Championship game. So, I mean, if you have a great supporting cast, you can make it.
I will actually stop you right there. There's 2 words, that Tony Romo should never do that Mark Sanchez did, but fumble. But fumble. So,
yeah,
okay, we're going to jump off the Tony Romo debate. I mean, we can go on all off season about it. But then again, at least the Lady Buff softball team, they aren't pulling a Tony Romo. They aren't throwing interceptions. They are actually crushing people. John, can you give me the details about that?
Definitely. The Lady Buff softball team may have had too much fun in Vegas, but it's not the way you think about it. The Lady Buff softball team won all 5 of their games. The last 2 games were blowouts. I think it was 14-4 was the last game. And then they just cashed in and swept every single game. So hopefully for the Lady Buffs, it doesn't do like in Vegas and stay in Vegas. It can continue on. They're in Arizona next weekend. Let's see if they can pull it out. What about those the Buffs baseball team?
The baseball team? Baseball is actually doing pretty good. They actually won their series versus CSU Pueblo. I wouldn't know if they were huge rivals or not. They're rivals in football, but we pretty much stomped them as far as baseball goes. They are continuing their home stretch against the Colorado School Mines Ore Diggers. That's kind of a long name. You get a little, you stumble over yourself.
Say that 5 times fast.
I know. That's going on over Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, just drop into the Buffalo Sports Park. They'll definitely be there. We definitely would love to see some support. Men's basketball, next week they're hosting Incarnate Word at the First United Bank Center. Incarnate Word actually lost their last 3 games while WT's on a 2-game skid of their own, so something's bound to break here. And I'm thinking Coach Coop is going to be breathing down his players' necks pretty hard to get that win. Even though WT doesn't have as good of a Lone Star Conference record as, say, Incarnate Word, the overall record's better, but any win will count. Any coach will tell you that. It's you win 1 game at a time, and they definitely need to win this one.
And they got to get it turned around. They started the season really well. They got to get it back turned around.
They did. As for on the other hand, the ladies are doing pretty well. John, what's going on with them?
Well,
can they continue their winning ways?
It's been an up and down season, as you know. They have won a couple straight, and now they have a tough road ahead of them next week because they take on Incarnate Word as well. But Incarnate Word is 15-6 and have won 6 of their last 7. They have a tough game against them on Wednesday, but then they also they host it. So fans, come out. The Lady Buffs can use all the help they can get against this team. But then they also go on and play Texas A&M Commerce, who's got a really bad record. Actually, both of the other Texas A&M teams have bad records right now.
Yeah.
So basically, Lady Buffs, if you can win this week, you could easily get to turn that into a 3-game win streak. And
Coach Garlick would love to see you too.
Definitely. Now, what about this weekend? What big games do we got going on, Tyler?
I think all we have, other than tonight's game with Oklahoma City, with the Heat, that's going to be an NBA rematch, NBA Finals rematch. I think it's going to be a preview to this year's NBA Finals. Also, I mean, I'd love to say that as a Thunder fan, but in my right mind, I'm thinking Oklahoma City has the right tools. Other than that, there's the Battle of LA, where actually the Clippers are the better team this time around.
Blake Griffin's really been helping them out.
Oh yes, Blake Griffin's been huge. But then again, it's the Battle of LA. It's always a toss-up. The Lakers have been historically good, but the Clippers are really making a dent this season. Other than that, it's just the NBA All-Star Game. I mean, I'm hoping that they have a decent dunk contest. I mean, I think of the last few years, they've had like nobody's really in there. There's no huge names.
And if they're doing it, I think Blake Griffin did a dunk over the car.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. That was pretty awesome.
But I mean, overall, it's kind of gone down in quality. Of course, nowadays a dunk is not really that fashionable. Everybody talked about that dunk Blake Griffin had last year in one of the season games, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, look at that dunk!" And I watched it. I was like, he just jumped a little over his head. That's all. But then we also have ladies softball this weekend. Like I said, they are on the road, but I'm going to be covering that in the Prairie this week. So be sure to catch that article.
Also, I am doing an article over renovations in Kimbrough versus a new on-campus stadium. Check out our upcoming articles for the Prairie. We definitely love to get some reader feedback.
All right. Stay classy, WT. This is the Liger Sports Show.
Signing out.